So I want to go back. It's Tuesday, around almost 8 o'clock at night Eastern time, and I kind of been away from the market. You know, when you're looking at the market every day, and then you take pretty much 3 days off with Christmas. You kind of, I mean, I feel like I've lost a little bit of a feel for it. So what I like to do is go through this list here. So this is just basically all stocks. we can open this up. And you've got all U.S. common stocks, ETFs, ADRs, all China stocks. ADR, so American depository receipts, that's like China stocks, but ADR here is average daily range percentage-wise. So we got, that's going to bring us with 1,700, if we look at 1,750 stocks pretty much. So maybe we can bump this up to, we say we bump that to 5 million. And let's bump this to 3. So that reduces it pretty dramatically. Right, so we got some of those very thinly traded stocks. So I have my chart set up with the daily. I like to go through the daily, and this NXTP, that was I think one of the last ones I traded on Friday. And if you look at the daily chart, I know I got it as it. Let's look at today. We had I totally did not see the market at all today. So anyway, I came in here and boom, that's where I got in this breakout, and I got in, scaled out. And now it's pulling back, and now it's kind of trying to go up again, but you got all these anchored VWAPs that it's trading underneath of. But over the last 22 days, this is what I'm looking at. I have this sorted by R22. What's R22? That's the rate of change percentage-wise over the last 22 days. And then it's so sorted by the ones that have gone up the most. And I like to look at some of the news, like what might have caused it to go up. Was there a catalyst? So look at December 11th. There's no news coming in here. Looking at TC2000, but what I might also go back and look at, or if I'm trading it that day, I might look at other news sources, mainly also with ChatGPT and asking times that'll find them. But the fly briefings, ALT, Altimmune. I know Kualamagi had it on his stream on December 15th, talking about how this one is a weight loss drug. So let's go back to that a second. I'm going to put a text in here. Weight loss. So that's one of the bigger themes, weight loss and AI. So this thing is traded for a while, I guess, and it can move. It can move. It's I don't know. It looks like they have some revenue, and I think they had some bigger news out when it did pump. So let's look at what that might have been. December 1st. Altimmune shares jumped 83% after it said Thursday that a phase 2 trial of Pemevutitude, whatever that is, in people with obesity showed mean weight loss of up to 16% after 48 weeks. So I guess that the market thinks that's relevant. It broke through that anchor VWAP from here. Let's go. Let's look at that. So now you're breaking above that anchor VWAP, but yeah, I mean, this is something that the float is small. It's under 20 million. Market cap, it's a micro cap. Showing some earnings growth. They're losing 39 cents a share last quarter. But really, you're trading this for this story. So, speculative story, right? Because if you look at the monthly chart, basically has done nothing but go down. Anyway, POL, polish.com. If you go to that website, it looks like a total scam job. That's probably what this is. I think I did trade this, like scalp it a little bit on the day of the move. C4. I have not traded this, but here you got potential breakout. All right, so it breaks out here. It holds this anchored VWAP. Look at that. All right, so everybody that bought in here, and then now it's breaking above. If you bought on this day, and now it's probably going to have that one to get through, right? So I do like to look at those anchor VWAPs. I do find them to come in handy and work at times. Let's see. Levels that the anchor VWAP create have to be respected, right? So it works until it doesn't. Now it has support here. It broke above this here, and now it just has this last support. So that dollar volume on that day was $814 million worth of stock. So, but if we get through that, well, could we get through that? What is the catalyst? So what was the date on this? 13th, so 12th. Let's see if what the news was on this one. C4 more than doubled after the company announced a license and research collaboration agreement with Merck to develop degrader antibody conjugates. All right, so I might make a note on that and just say partnership with Merck on this day. BTDR. So float is it's bigger. It's 1 billion. They have some earnings. BitDeer. So that tells me that this is related to Bitcoin, probably. I believe. But look at the volume on this in the weekly. It's done nothing but go up. And then you have some big volume here. It's got, let's do the anchor VWAP. All right, so it broke above it. So it doesn't have like, from that standpoint now, that the overhead resistance might be here, right? This price point. So the anchor VWAP is taking in volume as well as price, coming up with an average now. But then you also have price, and ultimately, price does pay. So that 1460 will be the last level of resistance for it. BitDeer Technologies approves up to a $2 million new stock buyback plan. They did that in October 19th. So that week, they started buying back to launch cloud service in Asia on November 10th. And it says 403 Bitcoins mined in November, down from 462. So it's a Bitcoin miner, and those have been working. I think there are better plays than this one. But you say that, and it's been up 184%. IREN, I was trading this on Friday. I remember that well. Actually, I traded it. Got it. I think I was just trading it, day trading it in here. Now, I should have held a little bit of a piece, but that's just another cryptocurrency stock. And on this day here, I don't think there was really much news. BITF, it's a breakout, and that was from today. So I had that wedge drawn. I just wasn't trading today, so I didn't see it. CGen, they had a partnership, I believe, with somebody. So that one could perk up here. Let's look at the anchored VWAP. So, it's trading underneath that. Now this stock is $1.67. So take that for what it's worth. Here you broke above. I've done videos on this. You broke above here, that high, and it's gone up. You had a breakout. Really, you had a tight area. You broke out here, you failed, then you broke out here, and then it ran. All right. So even if you just took the high there, and you have massive volume, right? Really massive volume. Clean Spark, they're also a lot of Bitcoin. So you're noticing a theme as you go through this. You're like, oh, I've been away from the market for a few days, but I'm going through this, and I'm seeing like, oh, a lot of Bitcoin stuff. It's a reminder, Bitcoin stuff has been working. Let's see, another Bitcoiner, Wolf. AUR, huge float on this thing. And their information technology, Target, not really sure what they do. CIFR, so financial markets, immediately I think mining Bitcoin, and that's what they are. So still, Bitcoiners are working. And that right here, you have like a kind of like a base here on a weekly chart. Last week you had massive volume. You're following that up. Let's look at the high here. So 530, you break out above that. Could be another buy point. Billion-dollar small cap. Cypher mining shares jump pre-market following purchase agreement for crypto rigs. It's a little bit of a catalyst. That was from last week. So that was on 12/19. That news that came through, right? So from that news, let's see, 12/19. It's up 36%. PBLA, another biotech. What kind of biotech though? This is where you got to do the work, right? Now here's a huge float. So it's going to be hard for this thing to move. So right off the bat, I probably would just eliminate it. And then when you back out to the monthly, this thing used to be 179,000. So I start to look at this as like, okay, this thing's likely a scam. They're trying to steal money from you. So just based off the history, I would pass on that one. Affirm, that continues to go up. So I had this breakout here. Look at the anchor VWAP. It's holding above. And then breakout here. You came back and tested it. Then you had that. Now it's got, yeah, you had the sell-off day, and now it's back above it. All right, so now that is support. But it's pretty extended. I want to swing trade that at this point. Maybe a day trade if you wanted to do something like that. Concern that I have with that is it's finally starting to show positive earnings growth, but the dollar earnings are negative, still losing money. ARVN, another BTBT. I remember looking at this and doing a video when it was in here. You can see it made a nice move up of 250% basically. It pulls back and it's moving back here. It's profit taking, selling, but then that selling's now going sideways. So that's trend is changing, and it's on lower volume. Now it's starting to curl up here, and you got above this anchored VWAP from back here. Let's see. If we have, when it's trading this far off the highs, yeah, it's always going to be under an anchor VWAP. Maybe that's a target, but yeah, that's just a nice little cup, right? And you saw that across many of the Bitcoin miners. Now this one is starting to cup out. Now maybe it's putting a handle. Could be a little bit of a handle. So let's go here. Now I'd want it to get above, above that anchor VWAP from this sell-off. Computer technologies, computer systems. Let's back out to the monthly. So down quite a bit off the highs, no earnings. Is this a China company? Open, that I have traded a little bit. Kind of a large float as well. Graycell, look at the monthly. All right, so it's not down 100,000 plus. It was at 33, now it's at 10. Another larger float on this one. And today it's up with some big volume. And that is, it's got a lot of news in here for TC2000 news. The AstraZeneca agrees to acquire Graycell, so it's an acquisition, right? So what you can do is you come in here, you just do text, you go caps lock XXXX. So now I know that's just an acquisition. Hive, another Bitcoiner. You can see how this chart is pretty similar to BTBT, although it seems to be lagging a little bit. Labu, it's butting up against that anchored VWAP. ANNX, the Biotech here. Now, is it weight loss? I don't know anything about this company. Let's back out to the monthly. And back here, it made a move. Float is, you'd like to see it under 20 million for a micro cap. Let's look at the daily again here. Yeah, so made a move last Thursday, the 21st. Shares jump on stock offering pricing. B of A upgrades. So Bank of America upgraded. Price is 125 million share offering. Let me look at that. Why would they do that? And then the price go up. Now Bank of America. Why is Bank of America upgrading? Shares up near 25% Thursday, trading after the company priced 125 million offering, while Bank of Security upgraded. Okay, doesn't say why they upgraded it. Here we go, from buy to neutral, from 4 to 30. So probably would have to do some more research on that to see if that has some more potential. AAOI, that. It's some tight action there, but you had no volume today. Where was the volume? It's a continuation setup. Yeah, you could buy it. And yeah, it could work. But I don't know. I'd probably want to see it closing at the highs with a little more volume. Run. I was looking at that last Friday. Solar company, CERE. I think that's a buyout. LQDA. They're doing a mixed shelf offering. Comp. Is this another Bitcoiner? Could be. Comp grade steps down. Don't see any recent news in here. Let's look at Compass. Rating outperform. Float, too large a float. Weekly, yeah, it's basically in this range, sideways range, and it could break out of that, but I don't see a clear enough catalyst. Springworks, Therapeutics, no revenue, no earnings. So it's really all about the story. Springworks Therapeutics closes a $316 million offering. Yeah, so let's go back to this date was what? It's 11/28. Raises price target. Yeah, so then they never really tell you why. So that's where you had to do more research. Maybe this one has potential. Carvana, that broke out. I got stopped out. I tried this one twice. So far, it's it's just like a nice little handle shakeout, right? So let me look at this a little closer here. It's a race everything. And let's do the anchor VWAP. All right, so you came up here, you tried breaking out, and then you came back on volume. To me, I look at this as the revenue growth is not there. I know that people are heavily short the stock, so it's really, that's the catalyst. The used car market, I think, is hurting from what I understand. So I don't know. I think I've tried it twice, and I'm probably going to just pass on it for now. This thing is DPST has just been stair stepping higher, right? So you had a buy point there that failed, but then you had one here that worked. Then it continued on from that one, just stair stepping higher, and now it's setting up again. Setting up again if you want to take it at that high. It's curling up. Maybe you put a starter position in here. RKT, this one float was way too large for me. Rocket companies, probably Bitcoin related. I have a VKTX. So this is one that Qualamangi talks about, and I think this is another weight loss one. The weekly on that. That looks like a nice cup, sideways action here. The monthly, you have a nice little consolidation, almost like a cup here, and handle. All right, look at where it came back. It's just like these anchor VWAPs are magical sometimes. Came right back to here. So let's see. And it broke through that. I think this one is looking pretty good here. That was the monthly. Just going sideways. So I would put this one on more at the higher end of the watch list rating system, whatever you want to call it. Viking Therapeutics. Let's look at the music, or the news. Viking Therapeutics phase 2B of blah, treat non-alcoholic means primary endpoint. So it's got a catalyst. And the date on that, November 14th. So going back to here. So from that news, it's up 70%. All right. BVN, industrial metals and minerals. Twist. Let's see. I've not familiar with what the catalyst is on this one. I'm trying to get through this a little faster. HUT, RXRX. Now, this one, I saw it here showing relative strength in here. And I think I bought it like here and got stopped out, and then I lost it. It dropped off my radar. And since then, it's up 33%. So, maybe don't lose. Maybe I shouldn't have let things fall off my radar like that. But I know that this one originally had big news way back in here when Nvidia announced the partnership with them. Or something, I don't know. I don't want to use the word partnership, but Nvidia was tied with them somehow. There was news with them related to Nvidia. All right, so yeah, I'm going to continue to go through this list, but this is kind of helping me get back into the flow of things and remembering, like, okay, here's what's worked, here's what has been moving coin. I have traded that one a number of times, and it would have been better to just sit in it because look at all this green volume here. Just look at all the green, and look at the weekly. It's nothing but green, straight up. If you look at the ADX, had the breakout here when it turned green. Here's the buy signal the way I have these color coded, you have a buy signal here. Then it, broke above the anchor VWAP. It broke above this high. This is anchor VWAP is going back to way back to the IPO week. And it's just there have not been any sell signals. Actually, every week has been higher. There's not been a 1 week low. So Hood, tried that. Hasn't worked out for me yet. Riot, ARDX, Redfin. All right, so I'll probably I'll do another video after I refine things a little bit more. But this is pretty much how I go through things. I like to look at the dailies. I like to look at the weeklies and monthly charts.